But right now, I feel a lot of people try to reduce that royalty to 1%. I've heard Binance rolling out the marketplace that will only give artists 1%. It makes me wonder, like, guys, like, why? Like, seriously, like, don't you understand that's the whole point of the industry, to be kind of inclusive and give artists what was due for a very, very long time. And 1%, I mean, it's like, does it really make a difference to someone, those 9%? Like, come on.
What's up, guys? How are we doing?
We are doing well.
¿Qué tal, Matt? So glad to be here once again.
All right. Well, today we got Olive Allen, OG crypto artist, an opinionated artist as well, who shares how she's feeling through her art. I think a master of satire. She's behind projects like Sheeplezzz. What are you guys excited about for this one?
I'm really excited to just get to speak to her. She's one of the first artists that I was introduced to into my own NFT journey. She's also very vocal, very no bars hold back. You know what I mean? She's very opinionated, and her work reflects that, as you said. And I think that she is a proper historian. You know, she's a truth finder, truth seeker when it comes to the timeline of crypto art, and that intersection with OG artists. So I'm excited to find out what she has for us today.
Yeah, for sure. Loved her perspectives as an artist, the kind of the growth of the market, what's in store. She's seen how things have developed over a very long period of time. So I think that perspective is very valuable. Lots of good stuff in this episode. But real quick, before we do jump in, definitely want to encourage you guys to check out our newsletter. Send it out once a week. Compile some of our favorite artists, drops, commentary, things to watch out for. The list goes on. We got to make sure you on the list. That's the thing. So go to nftnow.co to sign up. And without any further ado, Olive Allen.
Olive, welcome to Miami. Super excited to have you on the podcast. How's it going?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. Great. I'm happy to be here. Weather is nice, sort of nice. And you guys seem okay.
We're flattered.
Check in with us after all these tapings and we'll see.
Sure.
But I'm really excited to get your perspective as an OG crypto artist who has been involved in the space for a long time. Tell us a little bit about your journey into crypto art and into making NFTs.
Just a little bit. Oh my God. I've been here since 2018 in the NFT space, since its inception pretty much. I first heard about NFTs at the conference in Asia. I think it was late January, early February 2018. And I was like, wow, this is really, really interesting. And I think it has a lot of implementations, gaming, brand industry, fashion, and of course digital art. And I was so excited about it, and I was like, this is it, I'll have to get in. And before that, I was a painter living in New York, and I was a bit a bit frustrated about my own practice. I always believed that paint and canvas, it's so old-fashioned, it's so limited. I wanted to delve deeper into tech, learn more about it. And when I heard about NFTs, it just all came together. And I was like, this is my chance. And I have to start a startup, which was a strange idea, a strange logic, not gonna lie. Yet I did. It was a marketplace for NFTs of all sorts, gaming, fashion, and what else? Digital art as well. Even though I always saw it as a niche, which is it. It's booming. I'm happy, but it is still a niche. Small. I'm so excited about what NFTs can be. It's just the beginning days. But yeah, that's a bit of my journey, how I get into space. Of course, it's really, really long. And now a podcast is not too long. So yeah, if you have like additional questions on that, like, oh, what happened in year 2019, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm happy to elaborate. But other than that.
What happened in the year 2019?
Since you mentioned it, what's that?
Okay. What happened? Major NFT event. The very first drop in the NFT history that I did, under the name of my startup called Decadent. It doesn't exist anymore, so don't try to Google it or anything. It did not get much funding, but oh well. For Halloween, I released 13 dreadful and disappointing items. They're pretty dreadful and pretty disappointing. Yeah, and I ended up just sending them out to various people in the community who signed up. Yeah, that was fun. And after that, I decided to just like go down the rabbit hole. And yeah, I started minting more items. And I did another drop on Nifty Gateway, I think in April the following year. And after the summer, I started being way more active than I was as an artist. So yeah, and here we are in Miami 2021. Yeah, guys, 2021. Jesus.
Yeah, it is. You mentioned the really big journey in the cycles since becoming an OG crypto artist. What's it like to experience the current boom in the bull market as an OG, and what are some of the pros and cons that you're feeling?
Are we still in the bull market? That's an opinion. Well, it's overwhelming. Obviously, I didn't think it's gonna blow up so fast. Basically, I remember January 2021, it was slowing down a little, and February, just all of a sudden, out of the blue, everybody's talking about it. All celebrities started minting NFTs. Everyone at some point that tried to get in, it's just like, whoa, overwhelming. And like you ask yourself, like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're not that famous. You're still in the beginning of your career. How do you stand out? What the hell are you gonna do with your life, with your career, whatever? I don't know. Yes, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's been quite a journey, especially these past 3-4 months. It's been a lot.
What has been like that memorable moment in the last 3 or 4 months that you're just like, wow, that happened?
Memorable. Oh my God. Time flies. I feel all of the moment. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, Clubhouse. I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, what? I have to get in now? I'm like, no. Yes, I guess that happened. Jesus Christ. Memorable. Oh, I had a bunch of drops. It's hard to pinpoint one memorable moment. I mean, what is it for you guys? Can you like dissect all the moments into like what's important, what's not? It's just, yeah, it's all a blur at this point, honestly.
I can understand that, but there are certain moments that you can pinpoint. So for example, like what was a great cause of like joy for you in the last like 4 months, like that you've been in this space? What caused you a lot of joy? Because you've been putting out a lot of works, you've been doing a lot of things. Like what has brought you joy?
Well, that's a complicated question, right? I guess when I finish an art piece, there are like 5 seconds of joy. You're like, okay, I've done that. That looks great, yeah. And then like, oh yeah, hell, I have like so much to do. Never mind. Never mind. On to the next one. I guess the process itself brings me joy. I mean, that's why I'm making art. I love it. I became an artist not to make money. That was not the goal. It's just something that happened in the past 3 months. Yeah, but overall, it's just I enjoy the process. I enjoy coming up with ideas and characters and, yes, like different game mechanics. It just fascinates me, the whole process. And when there are exciting projects coming my way, it makes me really, really excited. But surprisingly, there are not too many exciting ones. There are a lot of projects coming in your way. Exciting, new, not that many, strangely enough. So whenever I get that opportunity to work on something that I really, really like the recent stuff I did with Save Art Space and billboards in London for Environmental Day in the UK, that was something very, very interesting. And I tokenized the public space and we did a whole fundraising event. That was something interesting. And Girl sent me, the curators, Anne and Dared sent me videos and photos of the physical space, the actual billboard with my art piece on it. And it's kind of cool, Mm-hmm. And for that, I revived my favorite character, the Unbearable. Mm-hmm. So it got some sort of second life. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
If you guys in London, please find this.
Send me pictures, tag me. When you think about the space, and I mean, it's been fascinating to see how quickly everything has evolved. But at the same time, there still are various issues or things to be addressed in the space. I mean, from your perspective, what are some different issues that you feel very strongly about in the NFT space that you feel we need to be conscious of and kind of work to address?
Issues, right? The retaining of the royalties, I've heard. I mean, 10% has been standard in the space, and I was really, really happy about it. I mean, artists deserve to get royalties from the sales, obviously. It's always been that. I always share that sentiment. But right now, I feel a lot of people try to reduce that royalty to 1%. I've heard Binance rolling out the marketplace that will only give artists 1%. It makes me wonder, like, guys, like, why? Like, seriously, like, don't you understand that's the whole point of the industry, to be kind of inclusive and give artists what was due for a very, very long time. And 1%, I mean, it's like, does it really make a difference to someone, those 9%? Like, come on. Who are those people? Seriously. I think it's a bit cheap. I guess that's a sentiment a lot of people share. Not a lot of people are gonna voice it, so I have to do it. So what else? I guess inclusivity is also an issue, even though the goal of the industry was to be inclusive. However, it's not as it seems. I mean, it seems like it is, but it isn't. And I think that's something to work on. Certainly, I think it's collectors' responsibility to include in their collection artists of color, female artists, and etc., like it is in traditional art world. Funny enough, traditional art world in that sense is more progressive, strangely enough. So the space is still a bit lacking, a little bit behind on that, and I think it is important to diversify your collection and also understand that, like, hey, not only white male like are worth collecting. Hey, women can make art too. Minorities can make incredible art. Like, and those people their voices should be amplified.
Absolutely. Olive, one thing I've always loved about your work is your use of satire, how you tackle issues and social issues in your work. I'd love to hear your thoughts, just so you know, about sort of speaking to that. Like, what sort of issues do you normally tackle? How do you what do you want people who are experiencing your art to take away from what you're doing with characters like Sheeple and the like?
Well, yes, a lot of my artwork is social commentary. I feel it is important to use art for good and to say the things that matter. With the Sheeplezzz, thanks for bringing it up. It's one of my favorite series ever. It's quite misunderstood by many, but Sheeplezzz meant to be anti-collectibles. They look pretty, not as sophisticated as they could have looked. That's on purpose. Some of them like outright bland. I mean, plain and boring. I mean, I think I have the ordinary Sheeple, right? Yeah, I mean, nothing special about that one. So Sheeplezzz meant to be a commentary about sheepleism. That's my term. It's not an actual word. Don't look it up. It's kind of a tendency of people following what's popular and what's the latest with no regard if it's good or bad or whatever. It's just like blindly following the herd. So yeah, I mean, after Beeples comes the Sheeplezzz. I mean, it could be read both ways. Like basically, like Sheeplezzz coming after Beeple pieces or like pieces of art, or Sheeplezzz is coming just in general, lining up for whatever it is. And the third way is basically Sheeplezzz it's the next thing. Of course, they haven't become the next thing yet, but hey, they have a potential. Everything can. I mean, I've heard Bored Apes. Yeah. Bored. What was that? Bored Apes is kind of like the next thing right now. After like the punks are dead. This is it. Like this is not a thing to collect anymore. Like Bored Apes are.
How long do you think that lasts?
Probably like a week or two. Maybe. Maybe no. Okay. Let's not like be a negative here. I think probably a month, maybe two. Yeah, I think after the summer there should be something new, or I think August, July is the time to like some other fad to exist. Maybe the Sheeplezzz, maybe finally, maybe the bears when the bear market comes. I mean, hey, just would make so much sense, right?
I agree.
Yeah, and thank you for that perspective. And which brings me to a really great point. Like, you never want to shy away from sharing your opinion. What are some of the key issues or things that are like right on top of your radar that you feel strongly you need to share about?
Well, as I mentioned before, the inclusivity and diversity in the space. Yeah, that collectors should be mindful of it, and that.
Can we go deeper into that? What does that mean?
No, I mean, collecting women and artists of color, that's essential. Like, give various people voice. That's a very, very important. Then I think crypto world kind of imitates the world of tech in general, with its lack of inclusivity and sort of, I don't know, like certain voices are amplified more than others, and it's just super, super visible and it's super apparent, even on crypto Twitter. Like nobody says much about Beeple and how his early works were outright racist and misogynistic. I mean, there was like several articles about it, and nobody has ever addressed the issue in the crypto space, which is very, very strange. So it's like my question is like, that's how people view NFT. I don't want people to view NFT space as just that character, that guy. That's something that nobody has said before. And I think it's important. Yeah, his imagery was racist and misogynistic. This is true. And I'd like people to address that and why he kept those images. That's the most important questions. Why he kept those images? I mean, understandably, it's been 10 years ago. But like, hey, there's an option to remove them, right? The time has changed, and if you have changed, remove them. But like, he chose not to. And also, where Christie's was looking at the time.
You bring up some fascinating points, and so from that specific aspect, like, how do you see inclusivity in a micro state? Like, what's something that's happening right now in this space that you're a big fan of, saying like, hey, this project or this group is bringing more inclusivity, or there's this collector or there's this artist? Like, what's something that we can point to that you're liking in that space?
Basically the space, I think there are a lot of creative women in the space. The VOCA, this organization, this group of amazing women are doing an important job in the space. There are not too many members as of yet, but I think they are well on the way, so I'm proud of them. Who else? Feldzine. This creative group is doing a lot for inclusivity in the space and beyond. I mean, I guess in general, digital art, not just the space. The space is just one of the aspects. Yeah, and here and there, I see a lot of DAOs or a lot of communities has been emerging little by little, and I'm very hopeful and positive to see that change. It's kind of like has been overdue in a way. I want to see NFT space kind of going together with the world, and the world is going forward in terms of inclusivity. I mean, maybe I live in New York, okay?
I do
maybe
too.
Not the world, okay? My bubble, I guess. Hey, there's Kamala Harris, and hey, she's vice president. Like, the world is going forward step by step, little by little, and I want NFT space to kind of being so innovative, being so new, incredible, to kind of like catch up on that as well. I mean, technology doesn't solve all the problems, all the societal issues, but just I want the space to kind of mature enough to go hand in hand with what's happening right now.
Yeah, no, I love it. I disagree. I do think blockchain solves every problem.
We got a blockchain maxi in the building. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. With that said, though, I mean, you mentioned some interesting organizations, you mentioned just some general trends, but I think we definitely are talking about like a very important issue, especially as this market starts to create so many opportunities. Don't want that just to perpetuate any like structural inequalities. In that vein, from outside of interesting organizations, ourselves, people listening, just general consumers and creators in this market, like what's the like things we can be conscious of? I mean, in the same way we all have the power to vote, what's a power that we all have that we can really use in order to foster this more inclusive and diverse environment?
Yes, that's a great question. I feel like each of us can repost and share art of I don't want to say minorities, like sounds, I don't know, like, but I guess it's true. Artists of color and women are the minorities in the space because there are way less men in the space. I think like maybe like 80%, 85%. So basically minority meaning like 15%, 10%. So basically amplify their voices and repost, share, and purchase art created by those people. I think that's important.
For sure.
I know a few collectors make a point of doing that, but far from everyone else. I mean, people are more passionate about buying Bored Apes or CryptoPunks than like buying artists of color. I mean, hey, this is the truth. Yeah. I'm not judging anyone in any way. I'm not perfect myself.
Do you have a CryptoPunk? Do you have a Bored Ape?
I don't.
No? Okay, there we go. You know,
I do not, actually.
Well, Olive, I think one thing, that also characterizes your art is always being forward-looking. And I'm really curious to dive into the topic of the metaverse and what your thoughts are there, what projects you have planned there, and then also tying that into everything we're talking about. If we're trying to build a more inclusive world, like that's the world we're shaping,
Absolutely. I think metaverse has a bright future. It is the future, want or not. Virtual reality, not necessarily virtual reality, just various digital worlds are here to stay, and this is just the beginning stages of it. I feel, there are several projects that are very, very interesting in space, like Somnium Space. What else? Decentraland and CryptoVoxels, the three major ones. I think a lot more are in the process of being built right now. And definitely everything's possible in the metaverse. I mean, you can build it the way you want it. It's so fascinating. It offers unlimited opportunities for almost everyone. You can be anything. You can build anything. It's just incredible. I think the future is really bright. A lot of people don't quite love it because, oh, hey, like it's not real world, whatever. We'll be stuck in our computers. But I think it's just something we can't avoid. That's, if your reality sucks, build a new one in the metaverse, and that's okay. Whatever works for someone. So, metaverse is just one thing when it comes to the future, obviously. As I mentioned before, I always believe that digital art is very, very niche, a small part of what NFTs could be. And I think next wave is going to be way, way, way bigger. I think it's going to be gaming. And brands are going to come into the space. And it's going to be just gazillion dollar industry, honestly. When brands realize that, hey, they don't have to produce, really spend tons of money on shipping and merchandising, on factories, whatnot, and they can just print digital stuff and people still buy it. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're gonna be oh my god. Yeah. And hey, metaverses are catching up, so it will come together. And
what's your favorite metaverse to spend time in?
I do not spend time in the metaverse. Strangely enough, I understand it's gonna be huge, it's gonna be big, but for myself, I'm pretty old. As you said, thank you so much. I'm pretty forward-looking, but also old-fashioned at the same time when it comes to my private life. I try to spend as much time in this physical and the real world with people that I love, with my friends and new friends, and just going places. Because I already spend enough time looking at the screens all the time, making art, and I just sometimes I do not have a capacity of spending time in the metaverse. It's strange. But I advocate for it. It sounds like a hypocrisy, but I'm down to build something in the metaverse. It's been on my list for a very, very long time. And
What's something that you want to build in the metaverse?
experience, I think art experience. I have several ideas. My art is, I don't know how to
You've been
say.
showing your art has been hung in a lot of digital
True.
galleries.
Yeah. I guess I've been to the metaverse. I walked around, of course, but I don't spend time there on a daily basis, like some people do. Which, no judgment, of course. Some people will spend time on Clubhouse. I mean, hey, whatever works for you. I want to build experiential art, sort of like installations. I know it's a bit challenging to build an installation in the real life. A lot of materials involved, a lot of planning, organizing, finding sponsorships, and etc. But in the metaverse, you can just do it by yourself, and that's something has been on my list for a very, very long time. And I think just one day, and I'll make it happen.
I love that. Yeah, you actually answered my next question, which was about like how you would ideally like to see your art displayed. And so what I'm curious is, how you're thinking about the long term of your own project. Is there some box that it hasn't been checked yet? Is there some like idea that you've been working on for a long time that you need to see come to fruition?
Oh my God, so many. Honestly, I have so much on my bucket list. It's a ton. Yeah, obviously, metaverse building, yes. And something else that kind of crosses over to more traditional art world. I want to see my art both in the metaverse and in physical art gallery where I can actually go and see it. I mean, my art is quite diverse that way, and I make paintings, I still do. And I still make digital work, I still do. And I gamify it, yes, I do. And I use technology, yes, I do. And artificial intelligence is something I'm also looking at and what has been fascinating for me for a very, very long time. Not necessarily AI-generated artworks, but AI-enabled. So I make characters, right? So in a way, I would love them to come alive and kind of exist independently for myself and my input. I think that'd be fascinating, but I don't think technology is yet there. But one day it's going to be fun, like my characters all living in that strange metaverse that I designed and act up the way they are independently from me. That'd be something amazing.
For sure. I love it. So as we kind of look forward in the coming months, a lot has happened. You'll be running the metaverse in due time. What are some specific projects that you're really excited about that you're working on, or what you can tell?
Well, what I'm working on, different paintings, nothing specific as of project, more of individual works that I'm partnering with the new NFT platform that's coming up in July. I don't know if I can tell you the details, so I'm releasing artwork as that platform. And it's going to be an exhibition in London as well. So I don't know if I am the one to announce that or they'll do it yourself. Yeah, it's coming. It's going to be July. It's going to be great. That's all I can say. What else? I mean, different projects. I don't know if I can really say specifics of I'm not the person who's like, oh, I have an exciting announcement. I'm going to announce that. I'm going to announce something exciting later.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, no.
I love it. Olive, one last question to wrap it up to bring the conversation. We're sitting down at the same table 5 years from now. What has happened? What do you want to see in the world of NFTs? And what's a mission that's important to you that you want to see evolve?
Oh, wow. That's a difficult question, right? My ideal future in the NFT space, I don't really like NFTs as much as word. I want NFTs to be a standard for all digital art, which it will be down the line, certainly. I'm 100% sure of it. that art world is gonna adapt that everybody will be using it, brands, gaming companies. I'm sure it's by then, yeah, a lot of games will be built specifically for that. And yeah, it's gonna be way more diverse and way crazier. So it's $1 trillion industry. I think in 5 years it's gonna be thriving. It's gonna be so huge. I think right now it's just day zero still, despite so much hype and so much buzz around it. It's still so new and so young. In 5 years, I think they're gonna be first steps towards maturing, really evolving. And like in 10, 15 years, it's gonna be wow, it's gonna be just crazy, honestly. I mean, we're all very lucky, guys, just to be here to witness all of this happening.
For sure.
Of course, there are issues. Obviously, there are, but I mean, it's a new world.
No, and thank you for bringing light to them when they need to, these projects do need, and these attention needs the attention that requires you. You are a vocal pillar to that, and it's always good to see you advocating for the underprivileged. And we're so grateful to have you here in Miami in person. Like Matt says, URL to IRL, making it happen. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Our pleasure. That was quite the conversation. I loved hearing her thoughts about inclusivity, ensuring representation, and sort of the future that she wants to build in the NFT space, and ensuring that it doesn't look the same as entrenched inequalities in our current world. What stood out to you guys?
Yeah, man, I think for Matt, you hit it right on the head. Her clear vision for what she wants in this space, and her courage to call out what she doesn't want in this space is incredibly empowering and inspiring, especially coming from a female heroine voice who has been so consistent in the history of the crypto art movement. So, I think just her takeaway of what she wants the metaverse to be. I think that was just really powerfully taken. And I just love that she's using her voice for good. She's really participating in full alignment with organizations that create impact, and allowing her art to be that voice of that action that represents her as well.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Your support means the world. Until then, we out.